Hi everyone, and welcome back, or I should say welcome back to myself to this apartment, because I've been gone for a couple weeks on a family trip. If you follow me on Instagram, I've got some stories posted there. It was wonderful. I might post the footage from Ireland and Germany, but I want to get this video up. I want to then film my favorite books of 2019. I then want to film a video on my reactions to You Season 2, because I'll tell you, I'm about halfway through right now and I have a few thoughts. So a travel vlog will probably be up in the next month or so, but I'm happy to be back, and there's so many books I'm really excited to be coming out in 2020. If there are any others that I don't mention in this video, please make sure to put them down below in case you want to see me review them in the future. So without further ado, let's get into the books I'm most anticipating for 2020. One of the first books I'm really looking forward to is The Deep by Alma Katsu, and this comes out in March 10th. She's written a book on the Donner Party that I'm forgetting what it's called right now that I've been wanting to read forever, so that I also want to read. But this book I'm really intrigued by because similar to her book on the Donner Party, it's fiction, but it's historical fiction, and this time instead of tackling the Donner Party, she is going to be tackling the Titanic. So the idea of a semi sort of horror novel set on the Titanic is just everything I've ever wanted. So it says Alma Katsu follows up her acclaimed Donner Party horror novel The Hunger, that's what it was called, with another historical tale, this one set on Titanic's infamous voyage. And from what I gather, it has a few different characters. There's, I think it's a nurse, I don't know if she's a nurse, but her name is Annie, and she survives the Titanic, and then there's mysterious creepy things happening there, and then it also takes place on the Britannic, the other ship. So that's all I know about it, but I'm really intrigued. Then we have The Return by Rachel Harrison, and this comes out on March 24th. Sometimes it's enough that a book just has a certain setting that I really want to read about, and that's the case for this because it has to do with a friend group where one of their friends disappears and then they return mysteriously 2 years later, changed and very off, I'm guessing in a very disturbing way, and they reunite these four, I think it's female friends, at a remote inn with this friend who has come back, and the second I hear remote inn, I am in. This next one sounds odd in a really wonderful way, and that is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and this comes out, or this is by Grady Hendrix, and it comes out on April 7th. This one seems like it's horror but also very funny. And it says that Patricia is married, her husband isn't giving her that much attention, but one of her things she enjoys most throughout the month is being part of a book club, which, shameless plug, if you're not part of the Year of Horror book club, make sure to join down below. It's on Discord, it's linked below. But she really enjoys her I was gonna say Discord group, her book club where they read a bunch of creepy books, and one day she's attacked by an elderly neighbor, and after that the neighbor's handsome relatives James Harris comes to visit because of this attack, and so it just sounds like a lot of delicious, creepy fun, and even just the cover was honestly enough to make me want to read this. This next one I know about zero about, but it's If It Bleeds by Stephen King, and this comes out on May 5th. The main reason I'm intrigued about this is because it's a collection of 4 novellas, and one of my favorite books by Stephen King is Full Dark, No Stars, because 2 out of those 4, I think that one was also 4 novellas, and 2 out of those 4 novellas are some of my favorite things Stephen King has written. I just tend to really like when he does short stories, so If It Bleeds is really high on my list. Next, we have a book called Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno-Garcia, and this comes out on June 30th. This one takes place in mid-century Mexico high society, and this is another one where it's enough where just the setting makes me want to read this, because it says it's Gothic fiction in this eerie story of family secrets set in an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico. And in this story, a woman, her sister is away and sends her a letter that says, "He's trying to poison me, you must come for me, you have to save me." And so after receiving that letter, she goes off to see her sister, and the second I see Gothic in a book, immediately I want to read it. When I was in Ireland, I met up with Roya from oh my god, I'm gonna say her channel name wrong, RG's Devil Ship. I'll have her channel linked down below, but she got me this Haunted Castles, The Complete Gothic Stories by Ray Russell. I'm reading this right now and absolutely loving it. So anything Gothic I just want to get my hands on. Then is Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. I really want to read, what is it called? Head Full of Ghosts, and for some reason I still haven't, but I did read recently, oh, what's it called? The Cabin at the End of the World, and I really loved that. And so he has a new release for 2020, and it says that this is a zombie novel, which honestly, I'm not a big zombie novel, I'm not a big zombie person. They don't interest me very much. I tend to find zombie books and movies a little on the boring side. But it says that he takes on the zombie novel in a fast-paced, heart-pounding thriller about a woman trying to keep her pregnant friend alive in a rapidly crumbling society. And the idea of her taking care of her pregnant friend makes me think of what was the movie, came out on Netflix and it was really popular, Bird Box. It reminds me a little bit of that. So even though I'm not a big zombie person, just because it's written by Paul Tremblay and that other aspect of the book interests me, really want to check out Survivor Song. Speaking of Bird Box, that's a nice segue for this next one because it's the sequel of Bird Box. I made this list a while ago and forgot, so that segues well. But Josh Malerman has finally come out with his sequel to Bird Box. I own one of his books called Unbury Carol, which, let me know if you've read it because I've heard not very positive things about it. I've heard it's pretty slow and boring. So if you've read Unbury Carol, because I do own it, it's sitting up there somewhere, and you think I'd like it, let me know and I can read it and review it, but I don't have a huge urge right now. But his sequel to Bird Box is finally coming out and it's called MALORIE. And MALORIE is, well, I can't really describe who MALORIE is without spoiling the ending of Bird Box, but if you've read Bird Box, I think you know who this person is. So it's about her, and I'm assuming it takes place years later. I adored Bird Box so much. I liked it a lot more than the movie, and I'm not always the type of person who likes a book more than the movie, but I just thought the book was a lot scarier when you're reading and you're in her head where she's blindfolded. I just thought it was a better experience in a book than watching it in a movie, but anyway. And the final book is Fly Away by Kathleen Jennings. And this one says that a young woman receives a letter from her long vanished brother. She starts to question what happened to her family with plenty of curses, monsters, and unsettling delights along the way. And Holly Black, who I adore, said this book, I forget what her quote was, but she said this book has teeth to it, and I feel like she uses that word a lot when she's recommending books, but it gets me every time. So those were all the books I was looking forward to in 2020. This was a quick video, but I haven't sat down and filmed in a while, so I kind of just wanted a little one to get me back in the swing of things. Like I said, I am going to film my favorite books of 2019, You Season 2 review, and then eventually I will have my travel vlog. But if there's anything else you're interested book related for me to post, please let me know. I hope if you guys celebrate, you had a wonderful holiday and that you have a great new year. I personally have not loved 2019 except for a few things, so I have really just good feelings about 2020, and I hope you guys do too, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.